Do not read as children do, to amuse yourself, or like the ambitious for the purpose of instruction. No, read in order to live. Yeah, it's going to be one of those reviews.
Reader, dare you tamper with forbidden knowledge?
The game Pyre takes this conceit, first introduced by Flaubert, a step further, suggesting that not only should we read, but in 2017 we must in fact game in order to live. Imagined by Supergiant Games, Pyre follows the legacy of titles like Bastion and Transistor, and in their wake, taking those achievements to new heights visually, mechanically, and even, in a sense, spiritually. The real magic of Pyre is discovering this world piecemeal as you live within it. Giving away too much of this fantastical realm defeats the purpose of this game. Let's put it this way. At one point, a mustachioed dog basketball player helped me find a piece of molten rock that I traded with a smiling goblin sitting on his dad's back to allow my talking fairy imp to shoot more magic fire. All true. Narratively, you traverse through the Downside, an area replete with untold magic and treasures, and home to the exiles that are forced to walk in no man's land of wonder. This is a fantasy story that will stand the test of time and has no need to rely on things like dwarves or orcs to be relevant. Most importantly, everything is interactive. In your imp wagon, you can touch everything, admire with a tooltip that reflects on what your character perceives on that item along with its functions. Little things like that elevate this $20 title to something so much more. Pyre functionally chooses to innovate in every aspect of its design. Most choices that blow you away, others that begin to wear on you, but still, the game keeps challenging your expectations for what fantasy titles can do and then iterates on itself, leaving you excited, sometimes confused, but always very intrigued. Early in the narrative, you are given the power through a gothic, omnipotent god to make a small decision for your group. Will you take the easy way through flagging horde, or possibly hurt the travelers by going an alternate route to get a rare item? Then, 6 hours in, these decisions evolve into determining the fates of your compatriots and even the world itself, simply, effectively, and with a mire of whimsy that just makes you smile. Think an Alice in Wonderland trope meeting the Banner Saga way of telling stories. And then finally, just a little taste of Blitzball from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, I understand. I think.
The main gameplay mechanic is a mix of, I guess, basketball and football. You're tasked with maneuvering your growing number of teammates through a trial against another hopeful, doomed foe by throwing an orb into their pyre. The catch is, if you are hit or touched or interacted with while carrying the orb, you're banished from the field from this particular match. Each right is set up with its own gothic color commentator that is an arena announcer we've always wanted, whips and quips in conjunction with this magical playground, yes please, yes please. Now the matches at first become a bit of a trial of attrition. Moving your trusted dog around the slower combatants will get you through some of the shaky controls, but much like the perfectly paced narrative progression, this surefire way to win falls flat midway through the game. You're forced to use different characters and master those movesets. This is where Pyre is at its weakest, with controls that can be confusing and a bit frenetic. Tonally, it's an interesting juxtaposition with this magic surrealist narrative arc and this kind of NBA Jam alpha mode that feels strange, but also really charming and magical. If you can play with a controller, do, because there's a meta system here that is easy to learn and difficult to master. When Pyre is finally completed and the credits roll, I was left feeling bereft. The weight of my decisions affecting the world in ways I didn't expect, but the journey through this beautiful storybook that weighs the power of words and choice is simply put intoxicating. Pyre is plainly one of the most eclectic and mesmerizing artistic experiences of 2017. Get it now.
The salt and roiling sea, the moon began to cry. The valley ran with sorrowful tears and filled the waters high. The misty morning over lies a